Okay, this is video 11, can you believe it, on the Dominion problem. At the moment we have seat numbering in place. We have feedback telling the user how many seats they've booked, and that changes every time I click. What I also want in here is a list of which seats have been booked. So you have 3 seats booked, but what are they? And so I want a list telling me which seats have been booked. Okay, that's going to go into the feedback section, and so what I have to do is find a list and get the seat numbering of all the seats that have been booked, and I want to do that every time the user clicks, every time they get feedback. Now, if you remember, I created myself a button and I put the feedback on the button there. Okay, so this action of the button, which I've since hidden, this is the bit that gives me feedback. You can see feedback text is that. I'm going to change that a little bit. I'm going to say feedback append, and I'm going to put all this text into a new div. That's not right. That makes it a div, and the text of that div is going to be what I just said there. So that works okay. Let's bring this guy down. Okay, and I've got to close some more things. So that's I've got to close the curly bracket that the text was in and the div there, and I've got to close the append bracket. Okay, that's all good, so that shouldn't have changed anything. Let's just check it still works. Reload. Looks fine. Oh, okay, that was an unintended consequence. I'm adding. So this happens a lot. I want to update every time someone clicks, but instead of setting the text, I've appended something, and so the old message is still there. And that's a fairly common problem and a pretty easy solution. All you do is clear out this feedback thing every time around. So I'm going to say $feedback, and I just want to splat everything out of there. Empty should do it. So empty just clears that thing. Reload. And so now, yep, it's removing what was there before and putting more stuff in. Okay, and what I want below this is a list of all the seats, and that's a little bit more involved. So finding the count was easy. It was just $m.length, but this $m character, that has got every seat I've booked, and I should be able to pull out the seat number easily and the row number with a little bit more difficulty for every seat that I've booked. Let's see how we might do that. I'm going to give myself a space to put this, so I'm going to put this in a UL. ULs are what you use for putting LIs in, and LIs are dotted lists, so it's not going in the append, it's going there. That should be okay. So I'm also going to add to that, that was one append, actually I'm going to change this a little bit. So that's one append. Join that one there, and then I have a second append, and I'm going to put in a UL which is going to contain the LIs that I'm going to make up. So that's my UL, and if I give that an ID or a class, some kind of hook so that I can find it later, this is going to be the seat list. It's really a seat ID list. Okay, so that's the seat ID list. So I've put an empty LI there, and I can add to that. So I might say, for example, $hash seat ID list dot append, and I want to make up a new LI. And the LI will say, for example, the text might be AA5, just picking one at random. And so I've hard-coded in one particular seat. Whoops, something's gone wrong. And I've got this one here telling me that I've got a problem. Line 73. No surprises. Line 73. Okay, so, oh yeah, so When you're chaining these appends, like I'm doing now, you don't want to have the semicolon at the end. So that was the feedback thing, append one thing, append another thing, and then put the semicolon in. Okay. I had a semicolon hanging over from the previous one. Reload, still got a problem. Unexpected string, line 74. Okay, that's a serious error. Forgot to open a bracket here. Okay, that's messy code. That's it. Okay, and it always says that I've got seat A5, even though that's a lie. Okay, let's stop lying. Let's put in real stuff. Okay, so my list of seats, I already found that it was this thing here, and I found its length. So that's my list of seats, and I'm going to give that a name. Var. Now it's a jQuery object. Don't want the I there. And this is a SL seat list. Okay, so that's my seat list. And you can run over these things in a traditional loop if you want to, and I do want to. For var I equals 0, I is less than. So it's the seat list dot length and I plus plus. So that's my standard loop that I use all the time. Now inside that loop I can refer to things like SL square brackets I. So that is the ith element of my list, and usually I'm interested in turning that thing there, which is a DOM object, into a jQuery object. So this thing, let's just print it out, console.log. This is a jQuery thing. No, this is an HTML DOM element, and I can't use my familiar methods with that. Let's reload and look at the console, and you can see these things here. These are DOM elements, and so you can't do something like .text should get the text out, which is the seat number, but I can't apply that to a DOM element. Let's try that. If I reload, then it breaks that thing there. So SL of I can't do text, all right, because it's a DOM element and DOM doesn't recognize text. It probably will recognize inner HTML. I haven't taught you about any of this stuff. No, it won't let me do, no, that's not what I meant at all. SL.innerHTML. Okay, that works all right, but that's not particularly useful. Before jQuery, we used to have to do this sort of thing, and I don't remember how to do it all. What we can do though is turn it into a jQuery object just by wrapping it in the dollar. And then I can't use inner HTML, but I can use text. And that gives me 18, which is part of the answer I'm looking for. So I could turn this thing into a jQuery object, dollar bump. So wrap it in the dollar to make it a jQuery object, and then I can get the text, and that is part of what I want to produce my list. Why is it stopping there? No reason for it to stop there. And there I'm getting 18, 7, 8. That's seat 18, and that's 7 and 8 that I've got. Now I also want to find this AA, and sorry, the BB here and the EE there. And that's a little bit trickier. We can use some navigation to find that. And I'm tempted to do that. I've got two options. What I could do is decorate each of these TDs, or the divs inside them, with the row number as I go along, or as I go over this loop, I could find the thing I'm after. Let me show you how I would go about finding the thing I'm after. I think this is quite instructive. So here's my loop. I'm going around. I'm going to put a line break there, and I'm going to fire that off. If I just select a seat, it'll fire it off. Okay, and I've paused here, and I can look at $SLI close. Okay, so that's a thing, and it's got a parent. This parent should be a TR. Yep, it is. And that parent has got a first child. I think I can say first child. First child. Nope, I can say first perhaps. No, first just gives me the first element of the list, and so that hasn't changed anything. It was already. What's going on? That's parent. So I can ask for its children. Yeah, that's a list of all the TDs, and handily, the first child is this guy here, these ones here, which has got the information I want in. So if I up arrow children and I ask for the first of that, that's got that first TD that has got the row number in it. So if I do dot text of that, okay, that's a bit of nifty navigation. So what I'm doing is I'm starting at where I'm at. So this is the node I'm at, and I am running up and down the tree. So I run up the tree to the parent, get a list of all the siblings. So this is all the siblings of this person, Li, and this is the first sibling of that Li, and that's the text, and that's the thing I want. So I want that EE, and I want that stuck in. I'm trying to select that phrase, but it's not letting me for some reason. That's better. So if I select that phrase there that I just worked out, here, perhaps I can put together the string. So var, this is the seat ID. The seat ID is paste in that thing there and tack onto it this thing here, which was the text content, that was the seat number. So that is the thing that I actually want to release. But just to check it, let's console log it before we go any further. So that was seat ID. Okay, let's try that again. Reload, take off the breakpoint, run. Okay, and look at the console. Where's the console gone? There it is. Okay, and it's EE18, BB7, BB8, EE18, BB7, BB8. Perfect. That's what I want. I don't want to put those in the LI instead of that stupid AA5. Can't remember why I did that. Don't want that. I want this, which is the JavaScript. Where was the LI? So this phrase here. Let's delete that and put that inside the loop. And indented, of course. So I want to append an li, and the li's text is that thing I just made up, which was seat ID. Ditch that. Okay, so I've created a variable called seat ID, and then I use it. Don't like doing that much, but what the hey. Run that and reload. Okay, that's my list of seats, and it gets added to. No, it's just getting added to, isn't it? It's getting bigger and bigger, and it's is it or not? FF, it looks like an awful lot of seats. Mind you, I'm doing 2 at a time. It says I've booked 11. That looks plausible. Maybe there are 11 in that list. Let's take it down. Yeah, no, it's getting smaller. Okay, so every time I book a sofa, it's putting those 2 in. Am I worried about the order? It's giving me the order that they appear. Fair enough. Yep, okay, that'll do. So that's my list of seats, and I can use CSS to style that differently. I don't think I do want a list going down. In particular, I really don't want this to happen. You can see now it's started scrolling. The scroll bar's kicked in, and I don't want scroll bars appearing. That's particularly bad if you've got this thing above this thing. Then every time you click, it can jump around. I don't like scroll bars appearing and disappearing as I'm clicking. So I might want to reformat that so that instead of going down, they go along the way. Other thing I want to do while I'm here is to calculate the prices. So we'll see what we can do about calculating prices. That's the CSS. While I'm here, why not? Let's change this. So inspect that thing there. That's a UL inside the seat ID list. So I can change the appearance of the seat ID list if I can find the CSS. So insert, let's see, so if it's a UL that has seat ID list, then a UL, sorry, an LI inside that, I got that wrong. This should be, gone into insert mode, UL, Okay, now normally your li is block. So I'm going to say display inline. This is the way people do lists. So, and it's good to use an li if you've got something that's in a list, but you don't necessarily have to have it going down the way. You can have it going across the way as well. Let's reload. Okay, it could do with a bit of separation there. Let's do that. Now I could put in a space in my jQuery, in my JavaScript, but the other thing I can do is to have some content. I can add the content, I can put the space in my CSS as well. Okay, now the syntax for that is something like more or less the same that I had before. Then I say it's something like content before. This is working very slowly. Undo that. Oh, now I've lost it. Undo. Undo. Okay. Okay, so it goes li and then it's something like before. Okay. Before. And I will put in content. Okay, I'm not sure if I quote this, I'm just looking. Content open, content, so I can quote. I wonder if I can put in a space like that. Let's try that and reload. Okay, that didn't work. That didn't work. Okay, I'm going to copy that phrase there because I liked it, or select it rather, and I'm going to undo because I've messed something up a long time ago. And now I'm undoing way too much. Let's redo. No, I've lost it. That was before. I'm sure I had something better than this. So that was content, and I wanted to try a space. And I also had a rule that looked like this, very much like that, but it didn't have the before, and it's a inline. Write that out and reload. My PC is slowing right down. It's put the spaces in. I think I'd like a dot or something. I have to hire myself a designer to put a dot in between those three things. Anyway, it's working. As I book seats, it is adding to that list, and the list goes along the way rather than down the way. So that's my list of seats booked. I wanted to calculate the total price. That's what I wanted. Okay, so price. How do we do the price? I've got a data structure. Okay, I've got a data structure in here. Okay, that's bad. I've got a data structure here somewhere. I'm trying to do this quickly because I think something's gone wrong. Maybe my video is filling up my Discord out. I am looking for, everything's moving slowly. Looking at this thing here to try and find my price structure. Here's pricing. Okay, so if it's an armchair, it's 15. If it's a left, it costs 11. If it's a right, it costs 11. So I want to add the prices, and a simple accumulator will do the job. So let's start my accumulator out here. So total price equals 0. We start out at 0, and every time we go around, we're going to add the appropriate seat price. Whoops. Oh, what was that? That was a big I. Okay, so I had in mind that we could just look up the class, but we can't do that easily. I'm going to have if statements. So if the seat I'm on, which is $seat ID, no, what was it? It was S. Okay, if SL of I dot has class A, so if it has class A, then I'm going to add to my total price plus equals what is it? D dot price square brackets A. Let's just check. Pricing. So it's pricing. This thing here, this is a hash, and I can refer to it in square brackets, but it is pricing. Okay, and I can copy that for the other ones, L and R. So I could do yank, paste, paste, and replace this thing with an R, and this thing with an L, and do that. Whoops. And replace that with an L, and replace that with an R. And once I've done that, okay, I should be able to let the user know how much they've spent. So I could say $hash feedback dot append. Okay, I'm going to make up another div. Oh, this is tiresome. It's kind of hard work writing jQuery sometimes. And the text is that will cost you £. That will cost you, and then add in the total price that I just worked out. Okay, let's reload. Okay, that £1 didn't go very nicely, but it seems to be working the numbers out right. Oh, that is ferociously expensive, isn't it? £15 for that, so I want that. That's 22. That's 44. That £1 is bugging me. How do we fix that? If I use ampersand £, that will not work. Let's see it not working. Reload, it puts in ampersand £, but if I, instead of changing the text, if I change the HTML, oh, I'm not sure if I can do this. I know I can call the HTML function, but that might work. Don't think I've ever done that before. Reload. Oh yeah, it worked fine. So that is a £, entity rather than the £, character, and it stops me worrying. I don't have to worry about what encoding I'm using. I guess I ought to, but I'm not gonna. Anyway, that's the cost worked out, and the seat list, and everything is just hunky-dory. Nothing could be better. It's working. Everything works. £103, for goodness sakes. Okay, I'm not sure what's going to be in the next video. I'll find out what's on my list. We seem to have done pretty much everything.